In today's episode, we're talking about signs from the other side. Not talking stop signs or speed
Or the fence.
Yeah.
Other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Although that can happen, I guess. But,
Yeah. No, we're talking about symbols or signs that loved ones that have crossed over that send to us to let them know that they are around us. And it's part of life that we're going to lose loved ones, or we have lost loved ones, and it's not an easy part of life. It can be quite difficult, and for me personally, I lost my daughter at the age of 20 to cancer, and that was 16 years ago. And I think what really helps me, even to this day, is that I receive signs from her. And I believe that that keeps a connection going. And like some people may believe that once a person passes, that's it. You will never see them again. And so that makes me feel kind of sad for people that, because they don't longer have that connection with their loved one, and a connection can carry on for a long time, like from lifetime to lifetime. Because I believe that in past lives, I believe we keep coming back, reincarnating. To get signs from a loved one is letting you know that they're still there, and you still have that connection, and it makes you feel good. And that, because your heart can hurt for a long time.
It's reassuring, right?
Yeah, and it's exactly. Even though they're not physically present, to get a sign from them is it's very comforting. Yeah. So, what's your belief around signs there, Danita?
Well, I do believe them wholeheartedly, for sure. I was brought up Catholic, so of course that was like voodoo. That was looked frowned upon.
Yeah, same here.
It was very much a demonic.
Yeah,
I
right.
think that it was really
unfortunately
emphasized as evil and demonic. If you're hearing things or seeing things, it's from another side, but it is from the devil.
Yeah.
So that was my upbringing, and so I did believe that. And I didn't know much about mediums. I really didn't. I didn't know about any psychics or anything like that till I moved to the city about 20 some years ago. I had gone through a divorce, and I was feeling kind of hopeless and starting fresh and new, and I was lost. I felt lost, and religion never really did anything for me.
Right.
In that respect, because it was all traditional, and it was all the different. I'm trying to find the word.
But you said traditional, so the traditional. Oh yeah, I know what you're trying to say here. We're both.
It'll come. It'll come.
Wrong pause. Yeah, it will come.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just started searching for answers and what was ahead for me. Because I was this little girl, woman, starting off in the city at 40. Yeah. Brand new and scared of everything, it seemed like, but especially the city life.
Yeah.
And so I searched out a medium. And maybe she didn't nail everything, but it did give me hope.
Right.
And that hope is what kind of kept me going.
Right.
Not that I totally relied on that, but it just gave me a little bit of hope, because some things actually came true.
Right.
Whatever she could see. So that was my first experience.
Right. And then it kind of took you from there to learn more about the other side, and it probably intrigued you and also gave you some comfort as well.
Yes. And I did also lose a son.
As
a baby, my second child. So my son.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a really strange time for me, because I was young, and we were married not that long. I guess my firstborn was 2 years old. So it was very traumatic is the word I'm looking for. It was traumatic. So that later in later on, I had one of my guitar players, his wife. She wasn't a medium or anything, but one time she just said, "You know what? Can I read your cards or tea leaves? Or I think it was cards." And she said, "There's someone beside you, and he's a young man, and he's laughing all the time, and he's joker, but he would like a name.
Oh,
Did you have a son that maybe?" And that shocked me because she wouldn't have known that,
right.
and that was just spooky at first because of my upbringing and all that. But this is before I came to the city.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of going back here, but she said these things, and I said, absolutely, yeah, actually. And we never gave him a name for some reason. It was baby.
Yeah,
it was the baby. So I did. I gave him his name.
Right.
So through that time, I always feel like he sends me little signs, but I never got to hold him. So it was long story, but I do feel sometimes that I have that presence by me.
And you have that connection. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
because of this lady, I have that connection. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. I've been oblivious to it.
Right. Yeah. So there was a reason that there was this lady that came into your life, and thank goodness you were open to it, because
I was it was scary because this woman had no idea my past or anything like that. So
and there's people that do believe that like that it's woohoo.
I was just going to use that word.
Woohoo, I was like, not woohoo, but that it's woohoo. That that somehow they must have found out about that or whatever. But that's even before the internet, right?
Yeah.
And how else could she have known? That's not like a public record.
Yeah.
There's even for myself, I've gone to mediums. I've done hypnotherapy, and hypnotherapy will also kind of do what they can have those skills as well, like a medium, where they can talk to the other side. And so it gives you reassurance.
I think people might think it's sort of like mediums or psychics or whatever, the circusy type of thing.
Well,
and
because
the tables levitating and that kind of thing. And there's magicians everywhere. If you watch America's Got Talent, these guys.
Right.
Amazing at what they do, but it's trickery.
But because there's people that even like with hypnotherapy, because I did it for quite some time to get through my grief, and when I had a cousin where her daughter was having some mental health issues, so I suggested want to try hypnotherapy. And she says she's not going to make her cluck like a chicken, is she?
Oh my! See, that's exactly.
And that's what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
They think hypnotist.
Yes.
Not hypnotherapist, and there's a big difference, right? And so, like a hypnotist, is there's trickery to that. Hypnotherapist is not trickery.
Yeah.
It's a skill that they learn, and it's also they have the ability. These people have abilities to communicate with people on the other side. So that's what makes hypnotherapists so good at what they do.
They're very in tuned.
Very in tuned. The hypnotherapist I had going through my grief, like I whenever I see her, I always thank her for saving my life, because I really thought without her, I would have probably turned into an alcoholic,
depression,
or deep depression. Because it was really bad, and she's still a friend to this day. I just love her, and I have another friend who became a hypnotherapist, right, because of her. And so their skills are just incredible. So if anybody's thinking it's woohoo, until you actually try it, then you experience it. And even like the signs from the other side, it's learning to recognize that, and having an open mind and getting into that belief, and that for myself, I call it God or universe. I personally don't believe in religion.
Man-made
Yeah,
religion.
man-made religion. So therefore, my mind is open to all these other things, right? These signs. I don't have a religion blocking me from that.
You're spiritual.
Yes, I'm spiritual.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
As well as I've been through the religion, but I feel spiritual. When I mentioned open-mindedness, and you had said it as well.
Yeah.
Some people would say, well, your mind, from the religious background, would say, yeah, if your mind's open, then you're going to let in all this, stuff, and it's going to, you're going to become like, you're going to need an exorcist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the devil's gotten to you,
and believe what you want to believe.
Yeah,
we are not suggesting that this is the route for you, but when you do experience it, we want to share, our experiences. And we're normal people, mostly. But
so we just want to share with everybody because what we believe in, because we do get signs quite often from people that have passed, and how we have that connection still. So we also want to share what kind of signs that we get. You're probably wondering, well, how do you know that's a sign from your loved one? So that was where, through mediums and hypnotherapists, that I know when I get a dime. Can be even 2 nickels. I got 2 nickels.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? Not long ago, I got 2 nickels.
Makes a dime.
Bathroom floor of the bar. It's the damnedest places. My daughter was a partier, so I get it, right?
That's cute.
So 2 nickels. How many people have change like that anymore, right? And it was, we're doing a gig at this bar, and we go into a stall, and there's 2 nickels, which equals a dime. So anyway, yes, I get dimes. I get dragonflies also, and dragonflies are a symbol of like transformation, right? Also butterflies, same thing. It's not so much butterflies for me, but the dragonflies. So I do wear dragonfly jewelry. I also dolphins, and what's the other one? Feathers, and a certain song. Certain song that she really liked.
That's a big sign.
And so when I hear that song, so there was times that I would come out of hypnotherapy, and there was this one time. Well, there was many, but there was one time where it was "Beer is Good and God is Great."
Oh yeah,
Billy Currington song. And I came out of hypnotherapy, and the hypnotherapist said, "There's this song that she really wants you to, whenever you hear it, that you will know it's her. That it's her."
Yeah.
I left the session, and it was maybe half an hour later, and I got in my car and turned on the radio. That song started playing.
That's crazy, but it's true.
True, yeah. So it's instances like that, right? A medium had told me that because my daughter loved dolphins, she had dolphin jewelry and stuff. She loved dolphins, so that when I don't have to see an actual dolphin, but dolphin somewhere. I was going on tour. I lived on Vancouver Island and came on tour with music as a individual artist, and came through on Highway 16 on this tour to Alberta. And there's a trailer on the side of the road, semi-trailer, and on the side was this great big dolphin.
Awesome. Just awesome.
So it was kind of like her telling me that I'm with you on this tour, Mom. Yeah. So, there's many instances. And dimes, I get a lot of dimes, and I have a cup.
Collection?
I have a collection, and the cup, actually, it says "It's a Girl," and it was a cup given to me with balloons when she was born. Aww. That I still have, and so I put all my dimes in there.
Really nice signs. They really do. Yeah, that's heartwarming.
So that keeps me connected to my daughters. It's not like that she's gone. Yep, one of us wasn't on silent.
No, I'm silent.
Oh,
I'm quiet.
I know why.
I'm being quiet.
My,
it's a sign.
It's a sign. There you go. A ding.
Actually,
She's
just
like, yeah.
just before we got on, we were saying because numbers are also a sign.
Yes.
And 222 is probably my number one number. Yeah. And every time I cut you off, what was this?
It was a text, but I had my phone on silent, but I didn't have it on like the other do not disturb.
Okay.
So that's why
it's a sign.
It was a sign. So ding, there you go.
Talking about it, Chantel. So there you go. So my thoughts on 222, the numbers.
Yes.
That if you see numbers on the clock, like the digital clock, or even on a clock, that's the number. And I even have license plate, those 222.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Right.
But
so do you still get signs from your son that you lost as a baby? And how about your dad?
My dad, often. My dad especially. I get the orange butterflies.
Yes.
The robins.
Yeah.
Robins.
Okay. I remember you made a post one year about your dad.
Yeah.
You know, remembering him on the day he passed. And you had put in the butterfly would be blue, and you were trying to get it to go orange.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
But the next day or later that day,
yes,
butterfly was orange.
That those little icons that you put beside your post, like in your post. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm glad you remembered that. So orange butterflies.
Yeah.
So anyway, my partner, my hubby and I, we went for a walk when we went camping one time. And we were walking for quite a ways, and there were two butterflies.
Yeah.
Two orange butterflies, those little ones.
Yeah.
They followed us all through the way down the path, and when we turned around, we walked back. They just kind of played around at the step of our motorhome.
Right.
And I'm like, that's my son and my dad.
It's hanging out.
My dad and my son are hanging out. They came to visit in the nature. Of course, Dad was always about nature, and so that was for sure a sign. And another time I was camping again, laying on my lounger during the day, reading a magazine on my lap. And this little orange butterfly came, floated. And there was this is weird, a picture of flowers. And it landed on the flowers.
On the flowers.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
They weren't real flowers, but it was on my lap.
Yeah, that's right.
But I also have feathers that I find often. This dime I just found recently.
Right.
It was in a bag with my swimsuit, and I never put money in that bag because why would I? Swimsuit, I have no pockets.
Yeah.
And it was at the bottom of my bag.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so that's
because you're in the darndest places, right? Like when my husband and I were selling our house, one of the houses we had, we were really kind of getting frustrated because it wasn't selling, and we wanted to buy a motorhome and move into it and travel or whatever. And so, but one day I went out for a walk and I came back, and in the middle of the street in front of the house was a dime. And like middle of the street, right? And and it wasn't long after that the house sold. So
some people would be very skeptical about this, but it is what you believe.
That's
and
right.
Those signs will appear more the more, like, when you believe these things, they will appear.
They will,
because it's law of attraction anyway. Too, if you want to look at it that way. But there is such a connection for us, and it gives us that warm, comforting feeling, I guess you can say.
City Girls and
Cowgirls
is our new single as of May 17th and is available on all digital platforms. This was a fun song to write because we talked about everything that a city girl does and everything that a cowgirl does. That's right. And we brought it together, and it's actually a fun line dancing tune. Two-steppy line dancing. So have a listen on the digital platform of your choice. City Girls and Cowgirls.
We're all just city girls and cowgirls.
Remember the time we went together to Watrous in that pool?
Yes.
Saltwater pool?
Yeah.
And this man was in the pool, or and he got out, and there was a dime stuck to his shoulder.
That's right.
Where
Yeah.
does that come from?
Right?
In floating like
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, it's salt water. So how did
Right.
the dime stick to his shoulder?
Well, if
I've
it-
forgotten about that
If
one
it's
too.
floating, I don't know, but a dime
Yeah.
would fall, I would think, to the
Yeah,
bottom.
in a pool.
So
stuck
we
to
both pointed at him like he was a bigger gentleman, and here he comes walking out of the pool with this dime on his shoulder. Remember, we said there's something on that guy's shoulder.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it? And we kind of swam a little, or swam. I can't swim, but we walked a little closer in the water, and sure enough, it was a dime.
Yeah, it was just unreal.
I
Yeah,
can't remember what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Before that, but it kind of was.
But it was like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah.
Right? And so there is no such thing as coincidence. It's there for a reason.
Everything.
Like I wrote a book about losing my daughter and the whole process of her going like from diagnosis till after she passed away. And I went away to write the book, and we had lived on Vancouver Island at the time, and then we moved back to Alberta. And so I wanted to go back to the island to write my book. I needed to just go away somewhere and be somewhere where I could just concentrate on writing it. And then a lot of people had suggested that to me. And a friend of mine had suggested this bed and breakfast. She had been to this place, and it was on the island. And she said the couple were just the sweetest people, and beautiful grounds and everything. So, and the room that they rented was kind of like in a loft, right? So I had messaged them. I said what I wanted to do. And so I said, I'm just going to be kind of locking myself in the room. And I went and just bought myself a bunch of snacks and things to drink or whatever, and locked myself in that room and finished my book. And remember, I said near the beginning of this podcast, dragonflies are one of the signs from my daughter. And so after I finished writing my book, then I still had quite a bit of time before my flight back home was. So I went and walked around in the town of Sydney on Vancouver Island. And I was just going in and out of shops, just killing time. And I walked into this one shop, and there was this curio cabinet. It wasn't a jewelry store. It had a variety of different things. It had shoes and scarves and a little bit of jewelry. And I walked past this curio cabinet, and I stopped dead in my tracks, and something told me back up and look at the bottom shelf. And so I did. I backed up and I looked at the bottom shelf, and the most beautiful Swarovski necklace and pendant of a dragonfly. And her favorite color was teal blue, and that's what color the stones were in this dragonfly.
Did you buy it?
And I bought it. I said, I don't care what the price is.
Yeah.
The credit card. And I bought it. And then I told the ladies at the counter about, the reason why I was buying it. And I had them both crying. We're all crying. But it was just like, that's not coincidence. No. It was a symbol, like, yes, you wrote the book, you finalized it in here. So I wear that necklace quite often.
I see you wear it.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of this book.
Yeah.
But for her, it was Blue Butterflies.
Blue Butterflies. Yeah.
And this is Carmel Joy Baird, who is from Sherwood Park.
Yeah.
She is a medium, and she wrote this book, A Medium's Journey from Panic to Peace, because she used to hear these voices, these people trying to get to her, to come through.
Yeah.
As a young child.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that happens to many people.
It does. I know some
they think
people
they're
like
going
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
And other people think they are crazy
they
too.
say they're schizophrenic.
Yes.
Even. Yes.
Yeah. They put a
label.
Title, a label
yeah.
on it. Anyways, I had the opportunity to perform for one of her psychic fairs.
Okay. Yeah.
And so then she signed it to me.
Yeah.
And she mentioned about see you at the CMA Awards, which so it's kind of like she was psychic about us winning an award one day.
Yes.
I think. But anyway, she's similar story.
Yeah.
That she went into a shop, and it reminded her of her grandmother, I think. It's a good read. It's an interesting read as well. But yeah, your daughter, you said dragonflies. It's always a...
Yeah, dragonflies, dolphins, and dimes, and feathers, and that song. Yeah, so I heard that song actually not long ago. again. It's a song that was popular in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
So it's not played on the radio regularly, and I don't purposely play it. I just, it randomly comes whenever, and I'm just like, oh, and I just go, hello.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here with me today.
Yeah. Have you
Pardon me.
ever had lights flickering? Have you heard of anybody with the
Fridge.
lights?
No, not the lights flickering, but the fridge making a funny noise.
Oh.
And in our home, when we lived on Vancouver Island, not long after she passed, the fridge would make funny noises that it never made before.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
and it wasn't an old fridge. It wasn't conking out.
Yeah, somebody would say, "Oh well, yeah, just needed it replaced."
Yeah, exactly. No, it just made some noises. And actually, being in the home we are now, we've been here for 2 years, and it does it once in a while too.
Really?
Same sound.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's cute.
So,
I've had knocks.
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 Oh.
That is a little bit strange. I don't know the connection, well, except for who's trying to get through.
Right.
But I've had times when I'm fully awake, and I swear I've had knocks on the door. I go to the door and there's
Nobody there. Yeah.
So that's big.
Yeah.
But lights flickering. I know of people who have
Yeah.
had the experience. Actually, a friend of mine had that experience. Her grandma passed away, and she was given a light from her grandma. One of those
Okay.
that you touch it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's not plugged in, I
Right.
guess, but it's through energy. I don't know how it works.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Or do they plug it in? I don't know.
Or battery operating, you just
No.
touch it in its motion. Could be.
However, it you have to touch it to turn on the light. It's
Okay.
almost like clap on, clap off, but
Right.
it's touch. Anyway, the lamp was sitting there, and it turned on.
Yep.
Turned on and off.
Yep.
Flickered on and off.
Yeah.
Or just came on, and she said, "That must be Grandma.
Yeah.
Must be my grandma coming through." So every time it does that, she's like, "Oh, hi, Grandma."
Yeah, exactly. So it's getting signs like that, and when you recognize them and accept them, it's not scary. It's where, hi, Grandma, or hi, Chantel.
My dad.
Yeah, exactly. And you feel it gives you that comfort, and you feel good about it.
Yeah.
And
Death isn't such a scary thing anymore.
right.
I
Yeah.
used to be so petrified
Yeah.
of death, and remember years ago when I was just little, and in the times of the open coffin,
Yes.
and my great grandma at the time had passed away. My grandma basically made me, touch
Her
my body, and
yeah.
it just freaked me out. Like death was just this thing that I feared
Right.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the background and all.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't believe that death is a final.
Right. Exactly.
It's not final.
Yeah. Same.
There is an afterlife.
Yeah.
And I believe it'll be a really happy time. I mean, there's so many. My dad had suffered quite a bit before he passed away.
Yeah.
And it's nice when they don't feel that pain anymore.
That's
you
right.
know they're
Yeah.
without pain
Yeah.
in their spirit body, whatever.
And it's their time. There's nothing we can do about it as much as we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you can't do anything about it, and you just know that they're going to not be in pain anymore.
They're waiting
and
for us on the other side.
Yeah, they're waiting. Yeah, and whenever that happens, and that's that's another subject.
Yeah, sure.
Of how we
Deal with.
well, or where I was going to go with that was like how we decide when we're going to come to this
Yeah.
world and how we leave this
Right.
world. But that like I say, that's another
digress.
digress.
Yeah.
Yeah, so getting signs, it's very comforting, and my husband's very open to it as well, and he gets the signs as well, and our other daughter is same thing,
Mhm.
So I remember her texting me one night. They were driving home back up north to Fort McMurray, and she says, I really like to see. I I think this is how she said it, and she can correct me if she's going to listen and put it in the comments. I think she said, Chantal, can I see some northern lights tonight? And she said she saw the most beautiful northern lights that night.
Oh, that's another thing is to ask for signs.
Yes, yeah.
I know people who have literally said, I want to see this. I want to know that you're there with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And they do receive a sign that gives them that reassurance and that comfort.
Right. And some people, it's not necessarily signs. They actually have where their loved ones have visited them in their dreams.
Yeah.
They have woken, they think maybe they say they woke up and their grandpa was at their feet, kind of thing, or whatever,
at the bed,
at the bed, foot of the bed, and so I don't know if they were still dreaming and they didn't know either, or if they were actually awake and they were there. So people there's that capability of seeing that, right? Yeah. So you just got to get in tune with it. For myself, my daughter does visit me at night sometimes. And I see a glittery glow of white. Oh. It's her aura.
Okay.
And when I reach out to touch that aura, it's cold.
Oh.
And it tingles. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a connection that way. Yeah. And I had read about that, that could happen. Yeah. That there's an aura and that people will visit, their spirit will visit you in that way. And if you feel a coolness, sometimes you can be sitting somewhere and people will say, all of a sudden it feels cold on this arm.
Yeah.
And it's just, they're brushing by. There's a member of the family, I won't say who, but she has that capability of seeing people. Oh. Yeah, on the other side. Yeah, she can actually see them, right? And she was one of those people as a kid. They thought she was going crazy, right? So... But anyway, it's
like the veil is lifted for her.
Yeah, and she had some, because she knew Chantal, she had some experiences after Chantal passed that there was some instances. Yeah, so
that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Another friend of mine has those kind of abilities, and there's times where she's visited her as well. Yeah. So they make their way, and actually some of Chantal's friends are open to those as well, and they say, she comes around me, every once in a while, and lets me know she's there. So she makes her rounds.
Yeah, she visits.
Yeah,
just a couple weeks ago, I was at my mom's. She was in the garden. She's 97. She's still picking weeds and trying to get to the root of things. She still works so hard. And as we were chatting in the garden, I saw this robin. Remember I said I had robins? This little robin was just bouncing around in the garden. It was like he came to say hi to both of us, I'm like, hi, Dad.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Did your mom see it that way?
I don't know. She didn't say. Okay. I don't think, but I did tell her. I says, every time I see a robin, I think of Dad. So she kind of, she smiled because I think she kind of likes that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I have the feathers as well. Find those little things somewhere floating around where
they just appear for whatever reason. Yeah.
We went on a boat one time and there was this little island kind of beside us.
Okay.
And we could see something on the ground. And so we came in closer and there were two feathers. Too long, they were from whether it was geese, I don't know.
Yeah.
But just two of them right there.
Oh wow!
So we have them in the motorhome, our old Winnebago. Because it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
found those.
It's kind of like somebody was giving you a sign that two feathers, maybe one from your hubby's side and one from your side, saying that you're supposed to be together. You could take it many different ways, right?
Could have been his mom.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he's very close to his mom. She passed away from cancer, so he was very close.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, for sure. All these signs. Another book that I have here is from a fellow I worked for. He was a real estate lawyer. And he had a gift from the grave. He had said his experience of his dad.
Oh, okay.
I had highlighted a little bit of it that I thought would be cool to share. the energy of Dad's spirit enters me, not with a thud, but with a zing, while it pushes me back parallel through the crest of a small wave, because he had walked into the water. I don't know,
Okay.
he was depressed after his dad passed or whatever.
Right.
And it's a beautiful feeling, not just a small tingle you get down your spine when you see a duck and her newborn waddle next to a stream in late spring. It feels euphoric, seemingly close to enlightenment. The feeling of peaceful bliss, coupled with enough energy, strength, and willpower to move mountains, fills every cell in my body. So it's kind of that, again, right?
Yeah.
It's like he was down in the dumps and he was very depressed.
Yeah.
And when he walked in the water, he was like,
Something.
God,
Yeah. Exactly.
crying out.
Yeah.
He has Native heritage, which he was. So we all get different vibes, different signs, but it's personal.
Yeah, it is definitely
Very personal.
Very
and we
personal.
share the dimes, the feathers,
Yeah,
those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other people do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, and it's those of us who have that belief and get those signs that we do share that with each other, right? And because we find it really cool and comforting. Yeah.
And if you have special stories from a loved one that touches your life after they've passed, like, please share.
Let us know what kind of signs that you get and what they mean to you, right?
If they're similar or different, or whatever, but we'd love to hear.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear something.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening to our signs from the other side, and we hope that maybe what we said connected with you today. So until next time, cheers. Thank you for listening to today's Sugar and Spice podcast. We really appreciate you listening. We'd also appreciate if you could follow us on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. Please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And please provide comments of how you enjoyed this wonderful podcast. We'd like to have fun, and we'd like to have our listeners have fun along with us.